I'm Dina Brannon. I am with Century 21 Award. We have about 17 offices throughout Southern California with a little under 900 agents.
Nice.
Cool. My name is Joe Albring. I'm with Key Realty. I'm the COO of Key. We are in Michigan and Ohio. We've got about the same number of agents as Dina. We've got just right around 1,000 agents.
My name is Alex Vidal. I'm president of a company called Related ISG International Realty in South Florida. We have 5 offices going on 6, waiting for the lease to be, or for the build out to be finished. And we're at about 450 agents right now.
Awesome.
I'm Rajiv Sajja. I work as Senior Vice President, Digital Marketing and Innovation for Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Fox & Roach Realtors in the greater Philadelphia area. We have 75 offices and 5,700 agents.
Wow.
Small operation.
Slightly.
Keep yourself busy.
Trending small.
Fox & Roach has been around a long time, man.
Yeah, we have.
Let's see here. You guys, everyone's on. I love it. Joe, how are you?
Doing well, thank you.
That's awesome. I know we were supposed to catch each other a couple weeks ago, and so I'm glad you're here. Everything all worked out with the storm?
Yeah, everything was fine. Power was out for a little while, but we made it through.
Awesome. Very cool. You know what really neat about this is I talk to almost everyone here all the time, and especially like Rajiv and Dina, and so to see you guys together is super neat. And we've got
Thanks for having us all.
We've got Jake. Are you hosting us today on the tech side?
Yep, hosting you guys.
Awesome. And then let's see here. Have you texted Tristan?
I don't know if he's going to be on yet. I'll text him right now. But we did go live, and we got about 60 people watching on Zoom, and people are starting to fill in on Facebook.
All right, then I'll get started for Tristan. Thanks, guys, for joining us today. I'm so excited to host some amazing leaders in the real estate industry. Today, one of the things we tried to do is look at it, and I'm really attracted to ambitious leaders. And so when I think about who has been doing really good work for their agents, for their office, their community, I think about some of the people that are on this panel today. We're going to kick it off and just introduce everyone, all the panelists, and then we're going to dive into what are we doing for our agents, and what are we proud of, and what are we implementing that has been really amazing, giving some of these leaders the ability to share what they've accomplished during the last 2-3 months of the quarantine, and also give them a chance to ask questions too to each other. We'll have the attendees also ask questions and say, hey, look, this is really a broker's mastermind on what leaders can do for the industry. But at the same time, I'm sure there's a ton of agents who are inspired to one day be a team leader, build their team, build a brokerage, and they're excited to go into the next level as a leader and for this industry. I'm James. I'm the founder of Maxa Designs. I get the privilege of working with leaders all day, providing a really, really neat marketing design software. You guys might have heard of it. It's called the LCA Marketing Center through Lab Code agents, and also the white label or private label version that Joe, Dina, Alex, and Rajiv all use. So I'll kick it off with Dina from San Diego. Please tell us where you're from, how long you've been in the industry, and then how large your organization, the opportunity is to lead the size of this organization.
All right. So again, I'm Dina Brannon, Vice President of Operations for Century 21 Award. We've been around for a very long time, early 90s, and we have 17 offices sprinkled throughout Southern California. Our corporate office is in San Diego, but we do, business all throughout Southern California. We are just under 900 agents currently, and and we're thriving. We're really excited, for what's to come.
Awesome. Yeah, we're excited because you guys, again, I get to talk to you or like Alex or Rajiv, and everyone does something really unique for their agents. And the things that you guys do is really, really neat, especially out Southern California has a lot of high-end properties. And so you guys are really pushed to elevate your marketing. But as well as Alex. Alex is from Miami. Please introduce yourself.
Sure. I guess we're all getting a round two of introductions. Is it like
I know. I'm sorry, guys.
If I fish, the closer I get to shore, the bigger my fish gets, right? Before I have to catch it. So my name is Alex Vidal. I'm president of Related ISG International Realty. 5 offices throughout Miami and Fort Lauderdale. About 450 agents. Going on office number 6. Personally, I just turned 42 yesterday. I've been in the business 23 years.
Wow, that's awesome. All right.
Long time.
And
Thanks.
Alex, you're kind of one of the thought leaders in Miami too. So it'd be interesting because you probably meet so many amazing leaders that have done a lot for the South Florida market.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see what you guys have been doing. And then we've got Joe. Joe's from you guys are in Ohio, is that right?
We are in Michigan and Ohio.
Nice. So tell us.
Yeah, sure. So I am the chief operations officer for Key Realty. We were founded. We're a fairly young company. We were founded in 2008. We've grown pretty rapidly. We've got about 1,000 agents in the 2-state market. And thanks for having me here. Excited to be here and share some stuff.
I love it. Thank you, Joe. Yeah, it took. You guys have a really neat owner as well. He's a real character in how he does everything. It's very unique.
Yeah, we have great owners. They've really carried out their vision into our company, and that doesn't always happen. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Then we've got Rajiv. Fox and Roach is the top, the big fish on campus. Tell us about you guys.
Well, it seems like a big company, but we're still family. Like, that's the culture that we sort of brewed here at Fox and Roach. But I'm Rajiv Sajja. I work as Senior Vice President, Digital Marketing and Innovation. We're in the greater Philadelphia area. I've been in the industry 19 years this past tax day. I started on tax day, which is wild. So I started in tech. My background is tech, and then I sort of moved towards marketing. So I tell people that I work in real estate and I live at the corner of Marketing Avenue and Technology Street. So people seem to get that. And we have 5,700 agents and 75 offices. So Fox and Roach has really grown, has been in the industry for a long time, private, and then became Prudential Fox and Roach, and then Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Fox and Roach 7 years ago now. And just grown through organic growth and acquisitions and mergers. And we just had one recently added about 20 offices and 600 agents recently. So,
wow, I can't wait to pick your brain on that a little bit. That's pretty interesting. I know that Long's trying to do that often. By the way, we finally have Tristan. Can you please introduce yourself? I know everybody in the world, plus my aunt, knows you.
I don't know how your aunt knows you, but thanks. Thanks for being on, everybody. I appreciate it. I've got Long with me and James, who are our co-hosts here. I thought I'd be more quiet and let you guys take over, but first, thank you for being on. Appreciate that.
Thanks for having us.
Pleasure. Thank you.
All right.
Back to you, James and Long.
Are you co-hosting with me?
Yeah, I'm gonna be chiming in when I need to. When I have you on and Tristan, I don't need to do a lot of talking, more listening.
Guys, will you introduce yourself as well? Because you have a really amazing brokerage as well, and as a founder and CEO, you just won an award, which is really cool. Tell us about Realty Group.
Yes, so I'm excited to learn from all you guys as well. We're pretty young compared to you guys. My first 15 years on the mortgage side, my last 13 in real estate, so 28 years in the business, and I started Realty Group in 2009. I was an active broker. I closed 1,000 transactions myself in the first 4 years, and then 2014 is when we started to grow the brokerage. We had 8 agents at the time. I have a business partner, his name is Mike Bernier. Together we're at 515 today, and we should be on pace to reach about 600. We're pretty selective. We only bring on agents who are productive. So we'll close about 4,200 transactions this year. We have 5 offices, and we're looking to add 3 more by the end of the year.
Ooh, that's awesome. So we got some powerhouses here. One of the things I always think about, because I started in real estate 8 years ago, and we started super small, just personal branding with agents and then some teams. And it was very hard when they were building their brand and when they talked to us about what it took to scale up, you know, to go from yourself to an assistant to maybe a buyer agent. You know, it was for you guys to reach the, you know, again, getting to close to 600 agents. I mean, it's really a big feat and super inspiring for a lot of us. I'll kick it off with the first question to Alex Vidal. I really, you know, what would you say are you most, you know, what's your favorite accomplishment or favorite implementation that you've done in the last 2 months during quarantine that really you felt like supported your agents and the culture at your team?
I don't know if it's anything different that we did. I think it was just a variation of it. Like for us, you know, we're a smaller brokerage, and the fact that we're privately owned and we're 400 and something agents. So we don't have the coffers that maybe some of the bigger real estate companies have. And so what we really pride ourselves on is that, yes, technology is great. It could absolutely help your business. It could, you know, make you more efficient. But the one thing that separated us from everybody else is what I call like the soul of our company. And so what we really wanted to do was make sure that if our agents are working from home, and we just reopened our offices yesterday after 10 weeks of remote working, the only connection that our agents had to our brokerage was our people, meaning our staff, my sales managers, our transaction coordinators, my marketing team, and, you know, Rowena. And so for us, it was very important to make sure that we maintained that attachment of the agents, that relationship of the agent with our personnel, because you have two ways to attach them, right? That you have it through personnel, and they have a physical office that they like going to. So we doubled up on what we were doing from a personnel perspective, made sure every single day we had something going on in the company, whether it be sales meetings or trainings, or every Wednesday I do this thing called Coffee with Alex, where typically in person I'd rotate to one of my 5 different offices and I bring coffee and just we'd shoot the shit, and there was not a real agenda to it. Everybody would just have an open forum to talk about. Whereas for the last 10 weeks, we've been doing a virtual Coffee with Alex, and we just invited the whole company. We're getting, you know, we've been getting upwards of 20% of our company on every single Coffee with Alex. And then we wrap it up on Fridays with a toast. And so there's no secret sauce to it. We just made sure that our agents knew that we were there, that we understood how they felt, provided them the right information of what was being out there and how they should read the news, what was happening in the market statistics, et cetera, arming them with it, arming them with how they can use that with their clients, and then just giving them the very easy scripts of what they should be doing with their clients, and been able to really maintain close to 70% of what we typically do in April and May, even under the house arrest, I call it house arrest, you know, the quarantine conditions. And so I would tell you that's really been our secret sauce throughout this. A lot of agents that I know are like, I never heard from my broker, or I hear from them once a week, if that. And within our brokerage, every single day, we had a way for them to be engaged, not only in the business, but with our company as well.
Wow. What would you say were the 3 scripts, or the scripts that you gave your agents, by the way? If it's cheating and you won't say, it's okay.
No, I don't care. No, I did a whole Instagram post about it. How you doing? You know, because the reality is this, right? Most people are home, which means most people are going to answer their phone. They want to talk to somebody. They're tired of talking to their kids and doing homework. They're tired of talking to their significant other if they're home with them, you know? So they were looking for somebody to speak to. And that very simple question of how are you doing, really, it accomplishes 3 things if you do it the right way. And one is you're creating an empathetic connection with that customer by just asking them how they're doing. And they'll feel like, oh my God, like, hey, Alex actually cares about how I'm doing throughout this pandemic. So that's the personal connection. The professional connection is their answer will tell you the second thing, which is whether or not you need to engage with them at a professional level. Are they having a kid? Because, you know, all of a sudden they're at home a lot. So, you know, there's going to be a baby boom out of this. Are they getting divorced? Did they have a death in the family, unfortunately? Did they lose their job? There were most of my friends, quite frankly, went through life-changing events over the last, let's say, 2.5 months, and were in need of a realtor. And so that simple question of asking them how they're doing, you know, again, allows me to connect with them personally. Their answer will let me know whether I need to engage with them at a professional level. And what I would educate our agents to do is do it while you're walking. Take your list with you and go for a walk. I mean, one day I walked almost 7 miles, and this was after my normal workouts that I do every morning, and just calling our agents to check in with them. And so I was able to keep my mind clear by walking. I was able to connect with my agents professionally and personally. And that's what our agents did to connect with their clients. And it worked very, very well. No secret sauce.
Wow. You have all of us nodding our head like, wow, that's great ideas. I bet like the other 164 attendees are like, oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I think, listen, luckily, I think a lot of the brokers picked up on that and shared, and at least locally shared that message with their clients. We just made sure that we did it on a continual basis. And it was like, okay, what should you do on call number 2? What you should do on call number 3? And, how do you handle the pushback and how do you handle the objections and, just prod more and blah, blah, and all that stuff. But really it was just, by the time agents got through calling their entire database, the 10 weeks were up pretty much.
Wow. That's awesome. Well, then how does someone like Rajiv with 5,000 agents, how do you handle the personal connection that, all the leaders want to stay personal with the agents? You've got 5,000 agents, 75 offices. How did you guys go about doing that in the last couple of months?
It was interesting. I mean, I'm glad I'm going second, because if I went last, all the ideas would have been taken. I'm second. So, I mean, I think we're quite in line with what Alex just talked about. I mean, relationships are the key to real estate. We are not a tech company. We never call ourselves a tech company. We're a relationship company that powers with tech, right? So, we've, as a leadership team, we've sort of agreed on, we're not just going to go through quarantine, we're going to grow through the quarantine. So when we come out on the other side, there may be a smaller market share, but we're going to take a bigger pie off the smaller share. So that, we've always said, we're going to do 12 months of business in 7 months. Okay. So whenever that thing goes up and it's starting to trend up, and, if we get to trends, we can talk about it. Showings are up, leading indicators are up now. I think the rock bottom is behind us. So during this time, one of the things we've embraced really teaching our agents and empowering them to build connections, leveraging our tech to build a deeper connection, whether it's a FaceTime call, being empathetic, all of the things that Alex talked about. And then in the midst of all this, we started something that I think will sustain itself going forward. We started doing live webinars like we're doing here. We do something called Friday Forum at 1 o'clock on Friday. And we had like 1,200 people attend it when we did it for the first time. And it was a way for us to establish, and sales meetings went online, and I've attended sales meetings that were like 140 people at one sales office meeting. It never happened in the history of Fox and Roach. And it's continuing. So I don't think we'll ever go back to in-person sales meetings because of the convenience and all of those things. I think the new normal, there's a lot of practices we're learning that's going to make us more efficient, more nimble, better able to support our sales associates. And we launched we're doing virtual open houses, which is probably one of the key things we've sort of pivoted against. And our first weekend we did this, we did about 250 virtual open houses. And some of them were really bad because agents were embracing tech. And we were not teaching perfection, just focus on progress. It got picked up in the local news because some of our competitors still haven't done a virtual open house extravaganza. And we've sort of done a lot of that stuff and packaged it. So those are some of the things that I think from a relationship level, personal level, and some tech level that we've sort of embraced and continuing to push.
I have a couple questions for you. I know.
So do I.
I know. What are some of the tech tools that you were leveraging in the last couple months?
So we're a big believer in open houses, and because it's one of the pieces that I just spoke about. So we partnered with a company called Spacio from HomeSpotter, and it is linked into our CRM. An agent can create a registration form and post it on our MLS, is Embraced Virtual Open Houses, so people can register for it. It's completely integrated into our CRM and our processes. So that's one thing that we've sort of embraced. And then we're teaching them Zoom. Everybody's trying to figure out how to run a good Zoom meeting, right? Imagine how many Zoom calls we've all been on. We've got Zoom fatigue here, right? Yes. So it's teaching them how to run a proper Zoom virtual open house on the day of. So so Spacio helps us with registration for virtual open houses, capturing all the leads, sending them price reductions, things of that nature. And they were also promoting our tech to promote the open house leading up to Sunday or Saturday, whenever they're doing it. And on the day of, what do? People are learning how to do Facebook Live. It's been there forever, right? But they're starting to learn it because the environment presents itself. So those are some of the things that existed already, but Spacio is probably the one thing that we're promoting quite heavily on that. It's a company that got acquired by HomeSpotter.
Wow. Have you guys used it, Dina and Long? You guys use Spacio?
No, not Spacio, but we're using something similar.
Okay.
So if you know Open Home Pro, right? People know Open Home Pro, which is in the industry and the agent can subscribe. This is Open Home Pro on steroids because it connects to a listing database. All your listings are there. Integrations are all exist. CRM integration. So it's just sort of we've been on it for over 2 years. Just
James, do I have a question? Can I ask a question?
You guys are always welcome to ask questions to each other.
Rajiv, how do it's interesting because I think everybody on here is more the in-person brokerage than like the EXPs of the world that are 100% virtual. So how do you guys mitigate, or how are you going to handle the difference between not having and I don't know if you have EXP in your market. We do.
A little bit, not much.
Not a force. Yeah, they're not here either, but I always thought like that's our thing, right? The raving fan philosophy, that's the connection again, it's all about connection. If they're personally connected to us, that'll trump maybe a better commission split down the line. So how do you guys keep that connection with your agents? Because that's what you guys do, right? But then no longer have sales meetings in person.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really a hybrid model. I think we're going to evolve to a place where we're going to learn some things that are good virtually, but in person. For us, we're a home services company. We like end-to-end, like brokerage, mortgage, title, insurance. So just like I think one of you mentioned, but those three play a big part in our profitability: mortgage, title, insurance.
Yeah.
So when they come into transactions, there's a lot of in-person interactions as well that are not going to go away just because we're virtual, right? So all that is to be decided what the new normal is going to be. So I think there's going to be a mixture of virtual and in-person that's going to happen of where we are going. So it's going to be a hybrid. We're never going to be fully virtual. But I think if you think about an agent, as a buyer, how many virtual open houses could I attend today on a weekend versus driving around, right? I mean, I could attend more. As an agent, I could be in my living room and do more. But doesn't mean we've still had people that bought a house without seeing it. That happened. But I don't think that's the norm. People still want to see it. So an in-person showing is going to happen, but they're going to do a lot more due diligence virtually. So it is a hybrid world that we're headed towards, personally.
No, that I understand. But I'm saying from and sorry guys, I'm taking over. I apologize. But because I hear you, I agree with you. Like our attendance, and I think everybody's shaking shaking their head on the screen too, is the attendance is through the roof on the Zoom versus in person. We're definitely experiencing that. So at what point do you trade off the virtual attendance versus the in-person ability for agents to see your sales manager and shake their hand and that I know what agents are doing in the marketplace. I'm saying from a broker to agent level, not an agent to customer level.
Yeah, I think there is going to be some in-person meetings that as a culture we have to evolve to. I don't think necessarily it's been decided what that is, but there's going to be a fine line we draw, right? I mean, in person and agents have to be comfortable. Maybe it happens a few months from now, but they got to be comfortable coming to an in-person meeting and actually wanting to shake their manager's hand versus sitting 6 feet away from them, right? So yeah, I think it'll evolve to that, and it's going to be a combination of virtual and in-person.
So Mike and I in Minnesota, we've actually for 3 years now have been using Zoom. So we have training 4 times a week, Tuesday, Thursday, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. And all of them are training are in one of our 2 flagship locations. We have 5 offices, one in the north, one in the south, that we do in-person training, but we have Zoom them all. So we've done a hybrid forever. And now it's all Zoom, but people are already asking, hey, can we go back to live because they interact with the others? I think as human, we like other human interaction. Even if they come to the office once a month, they want to know when they get out of their cave, they have a place to go to interact with them. So I think that hybrid model will be the way. We'll have offices, but what we have done through this is all of us in leadership roles that when things like this happen, we get to check our system and process the weaknesses, right? And make adjustments. So for us, our adjustment is we're still going to open offices, but we go to smaller. We don't need big space anymore. We need 1,800 to 2,500 square foot versus 3,000 to 5,000 square foot. Because like most of you guys at our volume, we also have ancillary businesses, mortgage, title, insurance. So we need those to be renting from us as well and have location for business.
For sure.
You guys are all right. Now, here's my question. I haven't heard back from Nina and Joe. Maybe you guys can start with this. Is with all the things that make adjustment the new normal, we know there's going to be another wave coming back. COVID's not going away. What kind of adjustment have you made now or will be ready for the next time?
Yeah, I'll jump on. Thanks for the question. I'm kind of in line with what everybody else said. I mean, we have been we're not a fully virtual company, but like you, Long, we're a hybrid as well, but I would say we've been more on the virtual side to begin with. We have offices, they were already small. And when I say small, I'm talking like 400 to 500 square feet. They are basically training centers. They are places, to your point, Alex, we want to gather, we want to get people around, and we've always driven our culture through education and events and not the water cooler. If that, maybe not a great analogy, but just not the traditional office model. So our philosophy is anytime I can get people in a room, I want to give them value. And so whether it's, once we come back live and we have people coming to the offices, I want to make sure I can give them value. And I'm not sure that if I can only get 6 or 8 people in a room, then I'm giving the group value by limiting to that. To your point, Rajiv, we don't really know what the new normal is yet. I'm not comfortable with it yet. So we, to your guys' point, we made ourselves very available. We made our managers very available. We got very aggressive with promoting and using the online open houses. We put all the proper forms in place. We have everything ready to go in anticipation and kind of knowing that this is coming back or that there's a good chance it is. So we're ready to go from a virtual standpoint and move 100% virtual whenever need be.
So Joe, when I think about your area too, and you guys have been around for a long time. What would you say in the last 2 months though has been something that you guys implemented that's been new, that's really made a difference in your company?
I think the value that we try to offer value in a different way. So we really dove into the government programs that were available. We really dove into all of that and became experts in that. Unemployment was available for 1099 independent contractors. And I can never remember, I don't know that it's ever been available for independent contractors. So we wanted to make sure that we had the resources and some guidance for our agents there. So one of the biggest things we did was we dove in and we offered that. We also offered our online education platform to the entire real estate community at large. We felt like that was the right thing to do. So all of the agents in Michigan and Ohio where we're licensed get all of our free education and free CE platforms online. And so I think that's been a nice a give back to the realtor community.
Awesome.
What do you have to add to this? You've been kind of quiet.
We also,
I've been waiting for my opportunity here. We've done a lot of the same. So what I can tell you is we implemented straight away, we went into a connection calendar, which basically is our way of connecting with the agents, whether it's training, happy hours, whatever it is that we're doing. But what we did is, as a leadership team, which I have to say, I love our leadership team. They are focused, they are committed, and they're peers. So most of them are active real estate agents doing great business. So they're hitting the ground and they're seeing what all of our agents are already seeing. So they're coming back with so many amazing ideas to actually help our agents. So the connection calendar was a big one that we did, where we had more intent with what we were doing, and we became like laser focused on what we were doing, because we knew that agents were in this limbo of not knowing what was going on. So one of the biggest things was training and education. Our Chief Compliance Officer, Nikki Copa, one of the best in the business, she was coming in every day with updates, talking to CAR, talking to our local boards, making sure our agents were educated and holding those meetings daily if needed. Another thing we did, we focused on what was positive out there. So many of our feeds were coming out with negative information. We know that the coronavirus was happening. We knew the market was down, but we focused on the things that were really helping our agents. And so we implemented some good news, a video we did every day where we posted about something that the agents were doing in the community every single day, whether they were making masks. Some people were doing things as simple as painting rocks and leaving them on the sidewalk for people to find. So we found that our agents were really out there helping their community, which we really, really loved. The other thing we did was we focused on industry professionals that could help our agents every single week. We had people like John Payton, from the CEO and president of Brokerages, who would come on and talk about mindset and market. We had Mike Ferry, Mike Meadler. We had, economists coming on. We had David Walsh, the president-elect from CAR. We had all of these really brilliant people who were seeing the market, who could actually speak to our agents every single day. And that was every single Thursday, and we continue to do that. So our focus was mindset, helping agents, and making sure our agents were comfortable with whatever it is that they were doing. If you didn't feel comfortable going out, don't go out. But if you did, here's how you do it. Here are the tools to do that. We even offered our agents safety kits. So we had a big event where we were socially distancing. We had staggered times, but we provided our agents with these kits where they were masks, they were hand sanitizers, they were gloves, and we gave them free to all of our agents who wanted them. They signed up, they came in, they picked up, but we armed our agents with the tools. The other thing is Century 21, as globally, really stepped in with their technology. We weren't known as that technology company, but they came in with our, new virtual open house tour that agents had access to immediately. They went from, I think, idea to execution in less than 2 weeks in this. And it's actually really worked, where agents can go online, they can request an open house, a virtual open house, our agents can host it. It gets great visibility on the website. So there was a lot of those key things that we did really early on. Angela Avalos, who is our vice president, focuses so hard on how we can get our agents together, how we can get them to continue to work. As I said, Nikki Kopa, our chief compliance officer, she is brilliant when it comes to compliance. She's going to protect our agents. And so them feeling like, okay, you have our back, you guys are educated in the things that you guys are talking about, so I trust what you're telling us to do. That made so many people in this kind of era where everything was so uncertain, it made them feel a lot better. And I have to tell you, with our agents, we've had more feedback recently than we ever have about the connection they have to our leadership team, the commitment that they have to our leadership team. It's been far more than anything else that we've ever done. And we couldn't be prouder of the things that we're doing. We work day and night to make sure our agents are taken care of. And they're all a committed group. We have Thad Killendenin, who's not only a top agent, but he's also kind of the community therapist, talking to all of our agents, available to all of our agents. And, and then we have our marketing side that we really, really pushed. We're launching a new app the very first week of January that allows agents to, work on their marketing right on their phone. We're trying to keep up with the technology, but not lose that touch and that sense of community that we built. But we're pushing these tools out to everybody. And I think mindset was one of the most important things. We are here for you. None of us know what's going to happen in the next 10 days, 30 days, even the next year. But what our agents know is we're right there with them. We're going to work our ass off to ensure that they have everything they need, that they have the compliance, that they have the understanding of what they can and can't do. And so I think those are some really important things. And like you other gentlemen said, we're going to become a hybrid. We're not going to lose the technology side, but the ways of doing business probably is going to change and shift. As long as we keep that connection and that relationship with our agents, that's one of the most important things that we can do.
I think that's a good lead in. If I can ask this question, I want to hear from all four of you is that, I think you're the one who said it too, is we're not just going through COVID, we're growing through COVID. So what are some of the things that you guys are doing that doesn't look like you're being opportunistic, but yet making sure that the other people know, because all of us here at the leadership team looks like we've done a good job of being visible and being there to support them. Because like you, Alex, I've heard a lot in the market that, man, I even heard from my broker went in the hole pretty much, So some of the things that, for example, to you to understand my question, like Mike and I would do webinar that we invite all of our real estate agents in our market come on to hear more about how PPP work, how EIDL would work to support them, what they need to do right now to get through, so that we get the visibility, so that the day after people go, man, I appreciate that. My broker didn't share any of that stuff with me. What's some of the example thing that you guys are doing now to actually grow or prepare yourself to grow when this thing's over?
So I think you touched on something that we started embarking on, the Friday forum that we do at 1 o'clock on Friday. Initially, it was an agent panel sharing best practices, how to growing through COVID, not just go through COVID. And then we also did, now that we're all working from home, the line between working from home and when you actually live at home is blurry for many of us, right? And so we have we all know pep talk. So one of the things that we sort of talk about is you got to take care of your physical well-being, and then emotional well-being, and then your professional well-being. That's what PEP stands for. And so we've sort of started talking about mental health also. And we actually stream that to every agent in our marketplace with a group of psychologists and we got like 5,000 views on our public Facebook page. So we're building a goodwill in our community as a brand. And we were the first to sort of do that. We also had an economist talk about how the market's trending up, what they can expect in 19 and 20, or 20 and 21. And we actually invited every agent in our marketplace, and we had about 100 agents, competitors that joined it. And then they asked us, when is the next one you're broadcasting? So I call it warm recruiting leads, but it wasn't done with recruiting in mind. It was done with the goodwill of our marketplace in mind. So we're starting to do what I don't think we would have ever thought of doing that had it not been for a quarantine and all the practices we put into place. So that I just want to hear from the others too. So
I think for us, the base of it is helping people. So helping an agent so that they can help their client. So we really focus on how can we help you? Is this the right fit for you? And so with any recruiting we do right now, especially, we're inviting them to attend these sessions. And, they're not open to the public, yet, because we really want to focus on, our agents and helping them through this. But we are inviting agents in to join us. And if they reach out, we're welcoming them in so they can see what we do and how we help, grow their business. It's all about helping people. And if that is the root of everything you do, it will come back to you. And I'm a firm believer in that. And that's the mindset of our leadership team, from David Romero, our president and CEO, all the way down. It's how can we help people? And that's the way we choose to do it.
And I'll add one more comment before I defer to Joe and Alex. One of the fun things we did last week was it's graduation time, right? I mean, the whole country, and everybody's doing virtual graduation. So we actually had got pictures of every graduate in our Fox and Roach family of sales associate employees. There were 130, and we created a fun movie out of it, and we posted it on Facebook, and organically we reached about 8,000 people on Facebook.
Wow.
And it was a fun thing, and they said it was the best thing you guys could ever do, and they said we finally feel like we graduated. And it was like a big ceremony, virtual thing, everything. So we did that, and it was an idea of one of our executive assistants. So,
see, those are the things to me of it when you have the opportunity to be a leader. That's so awesome. The creativity of that, the time you take to do something special for your agents, those little pieces make such a difference in the connections you build. So when you ask, a few times in my mind, you guys were saying, it's all about your relationships, it's all about connections. I kept thinking, well, how are they doing this? Exactly how. And Rajiv, you said it better than I could have ever, asked for you to say it, which is like going out of your way to make things meaningful for your team. Is such a big difference. And so the graduation, so that's a great idea. I feel like everyone watching should be doing that. Some type of recognition of your agent's children graduating. It's awesome.
Yeah. We also did awards because it was award season, right when COVID hit, right? So every office did a virtual award ceremony celebrating you, and they did a major thing at an office level. So that's what I think. As much as we're so big, it feels like family, Yeah. And that's really the culture of the company, I'm sure. Love to hear Alex.
How about you, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, we very much like you guys, we have always grown with giving value, and our biggest value proposition is education. And that was taken away from us a little bit because we really have a strong following of our agents, but agents outside of the company when we do live events. We've got some really good speakers. They've almost got a little bit of cult following. But when we moved it digital, moved it to Zoom, we actually found that we got a lot more attendance both by our agents and by agents outside of the company. And again, same thing. I mean, we've had hundreds of agents from outside of our company, and agents need help, and they're not getting it sometimes from their brokerage. And if we're in a position to help, I think it's almost unjust to not be out there helping. And if that means calling an agent once in a while and saying, hey, I don't know if you're getting this kind of support, but this is what we do here, I'm totally fine with that. That not only is that business, but that is the right thing to do in a lot of situations.
That's
James, one of the things I want to add is that, you know, the ability to move quickly on some of these things. So just so you guys know, when we do a class on Zoom or a training, we look through the chat and we see what questions did they ask, and we will take those questions and we will, boom, go into the next training on that immediately because we see a need for it. So being able to pivot and move it quickly is another thing that's super important to us. For instance, one of the chats we had said, you know, I miss, you know, being able to pitch my listing. So we went to a virtual pitch it live listing. And so agents can go on, they can go and pitch their listing. We'll show it through, we handle the technology for them. All they have to do is get on and explain what it is. And then we promote that. And it's an amazing way for our agents to be able to tell their sellers, this is what I'm doing. I have an audience now of, you know, 6,000 to 10,000 people instead of, you know, just, you know, my Facebook friends or, or the neighborhood I farmed. So being able to move super quickly right now, especially, is really important because, as you guys know, things are changing daily and it happens so quickly. So I think being able to be agile is important right now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Alex, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think our approach is a little different than I think everybody else's. For me, I think the foundation of recruiting starts with the retention, right? And the way we've been able to grow, when I started the company, it'll be 6 years in July. When I started with the company, we had about 40-something agents. At our peak, we had 560, and then we let go of the bottom, 30% that were the bottom feeders, essentially. And the way we grew our business was by creating raving fans. And so if all of a sudden there's 40 of us, but those 40 agents were raving fans of Related ISG, then all of a sudden, and there's only one of me, I have 40 recruiters that help me go and recruit, and then all of a sudden that turns into 80, and then that 80 turns into 160, so on and so forth. So for us, what we did was we said, all right, our meetings, we never made our meetings public. Our coffees with Alex are private. All of our sales meetings are private. They're very personal because we pretty much, like Rajiv said, we're small enough to know everybody by first name and know what's happening in their life. So we kept those personal. But what we did was we tried to incorporate a part of those meetings that we can then either screenshot, maybe get a recording of it, and then make that piece, either the screenshot or a recording, a blip of it, public, and then share that with our agents so that our agents can then share that with their own spheres of influence, which a lot of times are other agents. And then by natural default, agents outside of Related ISG will look at that and say, man, that's so cool. I'm not getting that at my brokerage. I need somebody who's going to lead me down that path of positivity throughout all this. And that's how we did it on the passive side or the quiet side. And then on like in your face way in leading the agents was pretty much, I guess, because of my show, The Closer Club, where, during this entire time of COVID, we've had, one of the top Keller Williams agents on. We had in the country, we had Ryan Serhan on, Mike Ferry, Tom Ferry, Chris Voss, the author of Never Split the Difference, and some other people that like national figures that just in interviewing in the show that I'm 107 episodes deep now, that just continues to do what it does, which is provides great content with somebody who's not related to our brokerage in any way, shape, or form. But our logo's right on there. They get to see what somebody like myself, who's the leader of the company, is, what our culture's like by virtue of me being the host, and that helps us, recruit as well. So that's kind of like the two-prong approach that we've done for recruiting, throughout this time.
Nice. I'm actually,
Hey, James, there's some questions in the Q&A and chat. I don't know if you want to see if our panelists can help answer.
yeah. So real quick, just what is the CRM you guys use and what do you like about it? But I have a big question I want to ask anyways. But I want to answer that CRM question real quick. So Dina, what CRMs do you guys use? You guys built your own though, kind of, right?
Well, Century 21 offers, a great program called Business Builder that incorporates into their Zap website that allows them to really use everything as a CRM. So, and that's another thing that's great, is that it's free to our agents. That's one of the most important things. But they're also able to use, whatever it is that they like. So, and just thinking about that, Alex, I know you asked about the difference between the EXP and those types of things. And sure. I think those are the biggest things because a lot of what we do is completely free to our agents. The tools, the things that we offer, and some of those other brokerage, I'm not saying EXP specifically, but any, a lot of other brokerages sometimes charge for any additionals for marketing portals, for, their apps or for their CRMs or things like that. So I think, that's the CRM we're using, and that's, and it's completely free to any of our agents who want to use it.
Nice. What about Alex? I don't know what CRM you guys use actually.
We didn't up until about 15 days ago. And the reason is because we primarily hire agents from other brokerages. It was very hard to dictate from a brokerage level, this is the CRM you got to use, because when you're coming from another brokerage, for the most part, you more than likely already have a CRM that you use. And who am I to tell you which one you want to use? But we had to revamp our corporate website. And when we did, we made a deal with the Trem Group, who's like, pretty much everybody uses, all the big hitters use them down here in South Florida. And with them, we actually ended up building our own CRM.
Right.
And so we built our own and, with Trem.
Nice. Trem. Okay. So Rajiv.
So we partnered with the company by the name of Reliance Network, again, big broker solutions company. And so our website's through them, our CRM is through them. And I think sometimes too often agents seem to think CRM is like the be all end all. It's not the CRM you use, it's the fact that you use one, right? The CRM that works is the one you use. So, and I think the question also in the chat was, what would you recommend with all this overwhelming of tech and all that? We're a firm believer that you got to build your database, stay in touch with your database. To Alex's point, relationships. Maybe this is the time you took to hopefully build your database. When you come out of it, you have a good database that you can work, grow, and cultivate. And whatever helps you do that, focus on that. And the rest all is like noise. Just focus on what you need to focus on.
So,
Joe?
Yeah, we use KV Core, which to your point, I don't know if it was Alex or Rajiv, if maybe both of you kind of said this. Yeah, we have a lot of people that wanted to use their own CRM, and we allow them to use it. And we spend a lot of money on KV Core for a little uptick. So it's been a bit of a challenge to be able to adequately train on it and be able to get our agents to use it. To your point, Rajiv, the best CRM is the one you're going to use. They will all work if you're willing to dive in and use it. So it'd be a totally different conversation to decide, to talk about what's worth it from a CRM standpoint. But KV Core is the one we currently use.
Cool. Well, if you guys are interested, you can ping me later. I have a few favorites. I get the benefit of working with hundreds of brokerages, and everyone's got their own. I have a few favorites after having met the leadership, and I'm not going to say it because I don't want every other CRM to get mad at me. So if you ping me, I'll tell you what it is. Okay, so let's talk about marketing a little bit. And that's one thing I love about Lab Coat Agents is we get to talk about marketing a lot on the broker level, on an agent level. There's a lot of advanced trainings on Lab Coat Agents that are about marketing. But I'm curious for you guys, what are you doing to support agents with their marketing while, a lot of things are starting to change, and it's an accelerated change, meaning you can't just rely on farming anymore, even though farming probably works, but it's accelerating to this digital era. And what have you guys found to support your agents as they become better marketers?
Well, I think one of the things that we did was super basic. Google yourself to start, see what your digital footprint looks like. What are people going to see, especially now more than ever? People are going to meet you virtually. They're not going to meet you in person, as much right now. And so Google yourself. What does your website say? Does it still say, that, you're a mom of 2 when you now have 4 kids or something? Does it now say that, you specialize in this market when you actually move to another market? Those are really key things that you want to make sure that your agents were doing. And it was super basic stuff because none of them had really had to rely on those things before. So now we really push them to look into those types of things. And you can't believe the things that we found. One of a really funny one is we're kind of showing an example to our agents, and we put in her name and an obituary came up, and I was like, I assure you she's alive, she's well, she's right here, kind of thing. So it's so funny what you'll find once you do that. The other thing was just using our tools like our marketing portal to supply content for agents. Something as simple as a background like I'm using right here in Zoom for them to, show who they are, even if they're doing like a sip and learn online or at their kids, PTO meeting or whatever it is that they're doing virtually, being able to brand yourself like that. So supplying the tools was super important to us. And even as we were a smaller team, supplying more of the content to them was really important because some of them couldn't do it for themselves. So we worked really hard on trying to do that. And when you're using a portal like ours, having one template can turn into 100 different types of templates just with that one, because the creativity is there and you're allowed to, edit and change colors and add so many different things. So I think really supplying content was super important for our agents and teaching them the basics. Even the basics will get them so much further ahead than all the other fancy stuff that people were offering,
No, it's really neat because you guys were the first to reach out and say, we need COVID-19 templates. We need virtual, we need real estate as essential templates, all kinds of stuff. And we saw the engagement go up. You guys have some really good engagement. For the size of your company, you have really good engagement, probably.
Well, and I think agents were able to pay for it themselves at one point, but when this happened, a lot of people, were really worried about how they spend their money. They have to spend it strategically right now because they didn't know when their next listing was coming or their next sale. So being able to provide those things for them and then be able to use it. I mean, that first week when COVID hit, we saw an insane increase. I think in that very first couple of days, we saw over 200 templates being created or updated, which is larger. And that was just in the first few days after COVID, when I started talking to James about some of those things. So I think that they needed something there, and it is an amazing tool that we were able to provide them.
Yeah. Awesome. Let's go to Rajiv real quick. On the marketing side, you said you live on Marketing and Technology Avenue. So yeah. I'm curious, so what are you guys doing to support the agents' marketing?
So I'm going to piggyback a bit on Dina, and then I'll add one more thought. One of the things we just launched, hopefully when none of my agents are listening to this is actually in beta. They haven't found out about it yet. So we're conducting something called a digital footprint audit. It's like a program we're launching that we're going to sort of scour the web. Google is a big part of our GMB, Google My Business, Zillow profiles, Realtor.com profiles, Facebook pages, reviews, all of that. And so here's what your current state is. Here's what we recommend your future state should be. And we can assist and tell you how to do it. So we're kind of starting with our top 100 agents. And as you know, some of them are really good with tech. Some of them have built a massive sphere and they're not good with digital footprint at all. So that's something that we're about to kind of roll out. We're piloting it with a few agents, kind of ironing out the kinks. The other things that we're doing is market reports and community guides, everything that we can kind of embrace with digital, with data. We launched something recently called Number One Market Stories. And all it means is take MLS data, and wherever we're number one, we're giving them social media, cool graphics to post. We're number one, and it's a rolling 12 months. And it's seriously adopted only because they don't have to do a thing. They just go to one link. It's a fixed link, tells a market story. And we got like 800 market stories in our footprint of number one stories. So it helps in recruiting. It helps in them telling a story. So those are some things that using data to tell a story, because everything else is an opinion, right? So that's what we're doing.
That's really cool. So it's as leadership, what I'm hearing from both of you guys is you're providing content in your unique way. So it could be through custom templates. It could be through reports that show that your brand is number one. That's a really great idea. Long, are you guys doing anything around that as for like providing content?
Yeah, so to pick it back up, you guys doing, so we're trying to coordinate that as well. But one thing that we also understand besides, if we market just a company, the agent may not buy in as much. So we want them to also understand that they also benefit by personal branding. Because in the people business, people work with people they like and trust, right? So visibility is credibility. So we want to help them. We actually use Maxa, James here. That's a big marketing platform we have. So we provide the content and we help them do it. I do like the digital footprint audit though. I'm gonna take a look at that to see how we can help, because Dina's right too. Google yourself. Now what's next? What do you need to do to improve on it? So that was my takeaway today. Thank you. But we use Maxa. They love it because it's professional looking. It's ready to go. It's template 99% of the time. A few do customize. We're one of the very first people that got
You
in.
were the first. You were the
That's
first
right.
app, the mobile
That's
app.
right. So our agent loved that as well.
You know, I just checked your reports. You're actually the winner as for the most designs out of the company. You guys have created close to 13,000 designs.
Woo!
Company.
Whoa.
That's pretty cool. It beat Dina, which I thought Dina was gonna be up. I thought Dina was the highest, but that's pretty cool.
So that's the thing, right? Because like Raif said, we also do it for them. So every one of the listing, we automatically, before input an MLS, we also create 5 pieces of marketing right out of, that's why we got so many. So they automatically got the door hanger, the single website, the mailers, and all you do is just hit and get them out.
Yeah,
Well-
Alex, you guys doing that? Or Dina too? You guys having people virtually help the agents with?
We haven't done that, and I'll tell you why. The tool is so simple to use. I mean, an agent can do it in their pajamas at midnight, you know, on their couch, and oh man, I have an open house tomorrow, I need more flyers, and just quickly do that. And so we really encourage them to learn and to really, because it's like I said, it is very simple. It's, to me, more simple than Canva and a lot of these other, you know, tools that are out there. And it's branded for them. It has their information already in there. It has the MLS link in there. I mean, all they really need to do is press a button really to print or to upload into their social media platforms. So we've really pushed them to do that. And a lot of them have, and they've done such an amazing job. All we had to do was provide the framework for them, you know, the foundation for it. Here's, you know, and we roll out quite a few templates, but we do that. And then, like I said, one template turns into 20 different types of templates for somebody, and how somebody uses one, they may change up on another. And we also allow personal branding as well, because we do believe that, you know, an agent needs to be able to brand themselves. So we allow that as well. And we've seen so many people use it, and it looks different on everybody's page. So we really love that. So
Could I ask a question along, and maybe Dina also? So this is, so when somebody's doing an open house or virtual open house or a price reduction or a new listing, you're saying that you automatically create some templates that they could just pick up and go versus creating one in Maxa, right? Basically.
Yep. Yep.
So
That's
you're moving
right.
towards a little bit of listing automation without actually emailing. You're not emailing, but you're doing everything else.
Correct. Yep. So they will actually get an email with those pieces, and like Dina, we have direction for them to just click and upload to the social media, and then they can also print the marketing pieces to mail, or services. Just click and someone print and mail it for them for a cost. So you know, there's 2 types of people, right? Do it yourself and done for you.
Automation, yeah, do it yourself. Yeah.
Pretty lazy. They should do
Yeah,
it themselves, like Dina said.
We're also rolling out Maxa, so that's something that we're going to look into for sure.
Yeah.
Maxa is huge. We use Maxa, and the beauty of Maxa, and not to plug James in any way, I'm not doing this because this happens to be your podcast. It's legit. Is the whole purpose of that was our marketing team prior to our design studio was, if an agent wanted a just listed postcard, we manually had to create it, which was silly, and it got to a point that it just became cost prohibitive. And so we got into, and so I'm paying this marketing director big money to be my marketing director, but yet she's being a graphic designer, you know, putting together a listing presentation or a just listed brochure versus creating new content that was pertinent to our market, pertinent to our brokerage. And so we partnered with James to be able to focus on, hey, we'll create it for the masses. We'll train you on how to use it. Go into the design studio, create it, takes you 2 seconds. And then from there, you can email it, upload it to social, print it, you know, do whatever you want to do. And that was one angle. The other big angle that we did was, even prior to coronavirus, but more now, was, I don't know about you guys, but in Southeast Florida, we have 65,000 realtors. Okay. And Long, you said it, people do business with people they like and they trust. So how do you create that when there's a sea of 65,000 realtors? Well, for me, at least, and it worked for me as the president of the company, and it works for our agents, was you got to go to the sandbox that everybody plays in. And the sandbox that they play in is video, right? Social media. And the toy they play with is video. And so for the agents that were able to get over their fear of getting in front of the camera and start doing video content, we give them the statistics or give them the message. All of a sudden, they saw an uptick in their business because they're not only providing content, but now they're showing somebody the way they look, their energy, their vibe, their personality, their know-how, all of that, which really in our market comes into play. Because again, if there are 65,000 realtors, customers have a choice with whom they want to work, and they're going to choose somebody they like and they trust. So how do you do that easily and free? Social media, right? And you do it with video, for us with video, in addition to what we do with Maxo. And
That's awesome. James, we got 2 minutes left if you want to wrap up.
Okay, great. I just texted you long. I was like, you got one last quick question that we should ask before we end it? Because it's like, I don't want it to end. Let me just check through the chat real quick and see if anything is there. Okay, I'll just go with this one. You guys are here. You have the wonderful privilege of being a leader for a lot of people, a lot of agents, and you get the privilege to survey what everyone is doing successfully. Everyone's doing something successfully, and there's things you kind of just hear, you remember, and I want to know what's the thing you've remembered that someone's doing in the last 2 or 3 months that's really stayed with you, and you would love to tell the people watching, because they could be agents, they could be leaders, brokers. We'll kick it off with Alex, just because he's pretty good on his feet.
It's funny. I have 4, quite frankly, and none of them have to do with anything you need to be doing in your business. Quite frankly, if you look at all the top producers, none of them blame anything in the market. They don't blame extenuating circumstances. Everything that happens, and this is not even real estate related. Look at anybody who's successful. They're not blaming everything that happens in their life, good or bad, is 100% their fault. Simple as that, right? The good and the bad. It's their fault that the good is happening. It's their fault that the bad is happening. They're not out there saying, oh, coronavirus is messing up my business. They're not out there saying, there's no inventory or condos aren't selling. It doesn't matter. My agents who strictly sold condos, and the condo market sucks right now because condos aren't allowing you in to show property. They shifted to single family homes and are crushing it even more, right? So it's nobody's fault but their own, the good and the bad. And then the other thing that you really can figure out among the top agents are 3 things, right? The common denominators are they're in the right environment, because for them, the environment is key. They have an inner motivation. Like right now, I have my office awards that I hang behind me. And the reason I do that is because when I took over the company, they were thinking of closing it. And they said, hey, we'll give you to the end of the year. Let's see what you got. And here we are 6 years later. But I believed in it. I had that inner motivation, and top agents all have that inner motivation that get them out of bed in the morning, even when they don't want to. It's bigger than them wanting to stay in bed. And they have a plan. I set up my office to be the right environment. Like you'll see, I have like motivational posters and all that stuff. But then I have all my race medals from when I do triathlons, I hang them, because that's your how, right? There's thousands of hours that go on to those 19 medals on the wall. I just didn't show up. And so they put in the work. They have a plan that they stuck to. And so they take 100% responsibility. They put themselves in the right environment. They have an inner motivation bigger than anything else. And they have a plan. They have a how on how they're going to get there, and they're rewarded with big closings.
Love it. Hell yeah. Okay, we'll kick it to Long. You go real quick.
Yeah, I love all that. You talk about mindset and control what you can't control. But the other thing that we encourage our agents is being a people business right now. Real estate EQ is even more important than real estate IQ. So, be empathetic. If people are scared and you're not scared, don't, minimize that. So that's probably the biggest thing that I saw, James, throughout this time, is that your EQ comes out and even more important right now than your IQ.
Wow. Awesome. Dina?
Pretty much the same things, although we embrace, AI, artificial intelligence, like Century 21 says, nothing outbeats agent intelligence. So, continue to do the work. Don't get distracted by all the white noise, and continue to focus, on what you know, and what you know is real estate. So
love it. Rajiv.
I've heard a while back, and then this is a problem going last, by the way, because everything these guys said, absolutely I echo it. But really, I think people that excel in our industry know how to control the controllables. They just don't figure. If I didn't have a chance to step out during quarantine, it didn't stop me from stepping up every day, right? So I could really change my skill set, enhance my skill set, and really focus on what's going to make your business move forward. Just because as a company, we offer hundreds of training sessions doesn't mean they all apply to you. Focus on the one you need to move forward. The rest will apply to you if they may in the future. So just manage your time. The beauty of the industry is that we all have 24 hours a day, and the ones that excel know how to manage not time. I don't think we manage time. We manage activities, right? So you just get good with activity management, and then we'll come out swinging.
Go.
Awesome. You guys are so awesome. I'm so glad you guys got to meet each other. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll have to bring you back a little bit later when the quarantine changes again, the market shifts, and we'll see where everyone's at.
Thank you for having us, James.
Thank you, guys.
Good meeting you guys. Take care.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.